Hi, everyone. Thank you, Annie, for welcoming us and kicking us off. On behalf of all of us at Creative Capital, welcome to the 2021 Artist Retreat. I'm Christine Kuan, and I am honored to join Creative Capital as the new president and executive director. I'm an Asian woman with black hair and brown eyes, wearing glasses in all blue, with bookshelves behind me. I cannot wait to be inspired and challenged by our amazing awardees and their innovative projects in the performing arts, visual arts, literature, moving image, socially engaged art, and multidisciplinary arts these next 2 days. A huge thank you to all of our awardees for so generously sharing their time, energy, and projects with us. Though we don't have the luxury of sharing a meal together this year, we do have the luxury of a more accessible retreat, which enables us to dial in from our sofas anywhere in the world and to save on our carbon footprint too. Please introduce yourself and let us know where you're located in the chat. I would like to take a moment to recognize that Creative Capital is located on the ancestral unceded homelands of the Lenape people, today called Manhattan. Our team recognizes the continual displacement and violence perpetrated against Indigenous people and people of color in the U.S. We must strive to break down the injustices in our systems, to fight against the destruction of our planet, and to continue our commitment to accountability and equity. I hope that all of you will feel welcomed and included in this work from your own respective places. This past year has been extremely painful and difficult due to the pandemic, our nation's crisis in social and racial justice, as well as the inescapable pressure of living amidst a climate emergency. This year also gave us a heightened appreciation for the things we truly value in life. The reason I joined Creative Capital is because I feel now is the critical time to champion groundbreaking artists and radical ideas, especially in America. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a first-generation Chinese American who was born in Ohio, raised in New Jersey, who abandoned pre-med in college and later spent 2 years in the cornfield studying art history with the founder of the International Dada Archive and poetry at the Iowa Writers' Workshop. I attribute this choice not to bravery, but to fate. I come from a family of artists, including my grandfather, who sold his paintings to flee the war in China in the 1930s. Like all of you, I have a deep personal attachment to art. We believe in art because it is joy, beauty, and magic. We believe in artists because they push boundaries of form, break conventions, and like bees, do the invisible and essential work of cross-pollinating ideas across space and time so that culture may flourish. But I also want to dispel the myth that the arts are not essential to our survival. We at Creative Capital also believe in art as an economy maker. In 2019, as reported by the NEA, arts and culture contributed over $900 billion to our US GDP, more than construction, agriculture, and mining, to name a few sectors traditionally lauded for boosting the economy. We know supporting the arts revitalizes communities and propels us forward with new opportunities. Creative Capital began in 1999 and has awarded more than $50 million to individual artists through our national open call process. More than 75% of awardees in recent years have been artists of color. And this is our lucky 13th retreat. To recap highlights from this past year, we doubled the impact of our professional development workshops and served 15,000 artists across the country. We joined the Artist Relief Coalition, and our COVID-19 resource guide for artists reached hundreds of thousands of people and entered the Library of Congress archives. We ensured that funds went to our awardees for emergency needs, including housing, groceries, computers, childcare, and other essentials. And thanks to Leslie Singer, our COO, and the stewardship of our board, we were able to weather the pandemic and remain in a strong financial position. Last but not least, I am delighted to announce that Creative Capital will increase our grants from 35 to 50 annual awards in 2022. Creative Capital is committed to expanding our grant making, our services to artists, and our impact in the arts. I wish to thank our board of directors, National Advisory Council, the Andy Warhol Foundation for the Visual Arts, Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, Surdna Foundation, Lambent Foundation, Toby Devin Lewis, Hewlett Foundation, Sherman Foundation, Bloomberg Philanthropies, NEA, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, and all of our donors for your steadfast support of Creative Capital. Thank you also to my predecessor, Susie Del Valle, our staff, and our national team of expert reviewers who did the challenging work of selecting our extraordinary 2020 and 2021 awardees. Thank you, Susie, my team, and Crux for making this retreat possible. I also want to express our deep gratitude to our founding director, Ruby Lerner, and the Warhol Foundation, who had the vision and the guts in 1999 to launch our venture philanthropy model. Our transformative giving approach provides artists with long-term scaffolding via funds, services, networks, and workshops. And through it all, Creative Capital remains fiercely committed to freedom of expression, which Archibald Gillies, then president of the Warhol Foundation, stated was essential to democracy. Most of all, thank you to all of our artists and friends for building a wild community of trust and faith in the arts. Creative Capital is a nonprofit public charity with a mission to serve risk-taking artists. Since I joined in March, awardees have told me about how Creative Capital helped to launch their projects, to plan for a sustainable career as an artist, and to even buy real estate. Awardees say to me, Creative Capital is the gold standard in artist support. That is why I hope you will consider joining me in making a donation today. And if you had the good fortune of having a great year financially, I encourage you to consider giving double your usual gift to double your impact in the creation of groundbreaking art. 100% of donations made during this retreat will go directly towards artist grants. I'd like to close with a haiku from the Japanese poet Tanada Santoka, who left modern business to become a beggar poet. Further in yet, green hills. I know you're all excited to go further in with the artists, so I'll sign off for now. I'll be back tonight at the happy hour on Zoom. Now I would like to introduce Sharon Bridgeforth, our 2016 Creative Capital awardee and our host for this year's retreat. Sharon is a writer and performing artist raised by African American Southerners who migrated to LA. Mentored by artists who use vehicle for social justice, in the 90s she became an organizer working to bring HIV services to local communities. Widely published, Sharon is a Duke performing artist and has received awards from MAP Fund and the National Performance Creation Fund. Her work has been presented by Lynx Hall, Pillsbury House Theater, the New Black Fest, and New York Summer Stage Festival. Over to you, Sharon.